Hello MotoGP World fans, it's Friday at Silverstone and the day is done and dusted, so I'm just going to take you for a walk down the paddock here and just talk about, give my general impressions on what was a very hot and entertaining day one here at Silverstone. Let's go. So let's start here where the MotoGP teams start. All the way down there is the Moto2 and the Moto3 teams. So let's start here at the Gas team of Pedro Costa. First time on a MotoGP bike at Silverstone. I had the privilege of walking this track yesterday, all 6 kilometers or 5.9, whatever it is, and it is so wide. There's so much to this racetrack. It really is a lot to take in. So I can understand why Pedro's not kind of setting the world on light as he has at previous tracks, especially on day one, taking it easy. Looking at Pedro out on the track, you can see he's still learning a track, finding his lines and stuff. So I expect Pedro Acosta to get faster as the weekend goes. Augusto Fernandez, it's all just Groundhog Day at the moment for Augusto, isn't it? He's just not in the races, unfortunately. So a lot of improvement there needed for Augusto Fernandez. I don't know what the future lies for him. You know, we look at the press conference that Jack Miller held yesterday talking about his future, and you know, the guy was almost in tears because at this point in time he's going home. There is no ride. And speaking to Jack, you know, casually in the paddock here, there's no ride. The World Superbike Ducati ride, according to him, was never on the cards. The deal was never on the table, so there's no point in talking about that, and there's no space for him here in MotoGP. So you kind of think, where the likes of Augusto Fernandez, if a Jack Miller doesn't have a ride, where's Augusto Fernandez going to go? So yeah, let's talking about the KTM team. Here they are. Brad Binder, I've just spoken to him. He's run past me. Says he's battling. The first job is always to get into Q2, which he's done in 7th place. But even watching him out on track, the bike's just sluggish. It's a bit heavy. It's not doing what he wants it to do in the change of directions. The rear's breaking traction, and he's just not feeling 100% comfortable. But look who's here. Look who this guy. The world.
Oh.
To everyone, to MotoGP World fans. No, it's a video that I'm doing for MotoGP World
guys?
YouTube channel. How are you doing,
Happening?
Bjorn? How's it going?
Good day today.
Sunny
Into
Silverstone.
Q2.
Yeah, into Q2.
That's all that counts
Yeah,
today.
that is all that counts. And you, how you doing?
Yeah, I think it's all good. Still enjoying it. Still trying our best to help our boy go forward and just help him achieve his dream, I guess.
Busy year so far.
Yeah, it's been busy, but we've had a nice 3-week break. So yeah, back to work this week with everybody, and things start to roll now. Next week not next week, week after we're busy with the home Grand Prix in Austria. That's always a super eventful weekend. And then after a couple of European rounds, go to the flyway. So everyone looks forward to that.
Bjorn, nice seeing you, my bud. I love
always a
it.
pleasure
And
to
this
see
is a
you
nice
guys.
exclusive for
Sorry, I really
MotoGP
didn't
World.
think I was talking to the family.
You are, no, you're
But
talking
anyway, hello to the family anyway, just for the record.
Cheers, Bjorn. Take it easy, man. Nice there with Bjorn. Look at that, getting a picture with Bjorn. Doesn't even know who he is. Probably thinks he's Jack or Brad. Speaking of Jack Miller, as I said, it's a tough conversation for Jack at the moment. Even in the media debrief, you know, people saying, you know, surely there's got to be something in the pipeline for the future. And you know, today's result is a positive in what's been a very negative season for Jack. You know, how does he look at it? And someone said, you know, you've hit rock bottom, and you know, was today a positive for you? And he said, I hit rock bottom 2 weeks ago. I've been in rock bottom for a while, so it's hard. It's hard. Hearing Jack talk like that, and the thought of Jack not being in the paddock. Yes, he hasn't done enough to really justify himself being here. I agree with that. This year, I suppose, but he's still a big name. You walk around the paddock, and certainly in the fan zone, there's more Jack Miller shirts than most. So how a guy like Jack Miller is not going to be in this paddock is a bit confusing with some of the other riders that I'll get to a little bit later. But yeah, KTM, good job. But you know, it's always that issue of they've hit a good fast lap time. They're going to improve a little bit. The others are going to improve a lot more, and that's always the big problem with KTM is they find this lap time pretty quickly, but they reach a brick wall and they can't go faster, whereas the others go faster, and that's what I worry about with Jack and Brad. As I said, Brad talking about the change of direction, I could see it visibly. It's not there. He can't flick the bike anywhere near as comfortably or stable or agility wise compared to the Ducatis and these machines right here, the Aprilias. So let's hope that they can improve over the weekend. But very, very positive to see them get straight into Q2. Aleix Espargaro, loving life at the moment, big smile on his face. Looking forward to being a Honda test rider next year. Enjoying life at the moment. And another great job today. He loves the Silverstone circuit. We know that, dominated here last year and is looking really good. Much respect for Aleix Espargaro, enjoying his last season in full-time racing with the Aprilia team, with his family here. I love seeing it. I know Aleix can be, got a love-hate relationship with Aleix. I know he can throw his toys out, and there's the bad side of Aleix, but when you see him smiling, running around with his family, his two beautiful children and his beautiful wife, it's great. You know, as a father myself, to see Aleix in the chaos that's in MotoGP, or the chaos that is MotoGP, still able to be a great father and a great husband is fantastic. Maverick Vinales is also right up there on the Aprilia. Well, not as up there as Aleix Espargaro, but yeah, you got to wait and see what happens with what Maverick wakes up out of bed on Saturday and Sunday. So looks good in parts on the track. Looks like he's overriding the bike at parts in the track. So yeah, I give up trying to sum up what Maverick Vinales is. The other side of the Aprilia garage, which is the Trackhouse Racing MotoGP team, Raul Fernandez, who I think is the luckiest man in the MotoGP paddock, to be honest, which just spoke about the likes of Jack Miller with no ride. How this kid has had so many opportunities. Yes, I know the controversy, and we're all going to say, oh, it's because he's Spanish and his Spanish passport. It is. He hasn't done enough to be in MotoGP for me. I know there's glimpses of it, and we saw it again today. I think he was top 11 or something, but hasn't. If a Jack Miller can't stay in MotoGP, should this guy be in? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, superb rider, fast rider, I know that, but I don't know. I don't know. Has he done enough to stay in MotoGP? Miguel Oliveira just seems to be going through the motions at the moment. I spoke about Augusto Fernandez's Groundhog Day. Seems to be the same old story for Miguel as well. It's just something's not clicking for him. You know, he's pretty much confirmed he won't be with Trackhouse Aprilia for next year, which ultimately lines him up to be with this team for next year, which is switching from Ducati to Yamaha machinery. Maybe that's the change that Miguel needs, because at the moment it's just very stale at the moment from Miguel Oliveira, and there's a much better rider in there than we're seeing. Franco Morbidelli again going through the motions. I think he was actually in 11th place, if I remember. But again, still waiting to see the best of Franco. On the Ducati we've seen a couple of glimpses, but still playing catch up. I know with the testing and the injuries, everything that happened at the beginning of the year, but yeah. I need to see more. I've spoken about it plenty of times on the Talking MotoGP show. I need to see more. Jorge Martin, really fast. He said he really used the 3-week break to reset, to get his mind right, to find the desire again. Those were the exact words he used in the media debrief after the day. I had to find the desire to do it again. I think, with everything going on, the being outed by Ducati in many ways, and there was a lot going on, and then Sachsenring didn't go well. He lost the championship lead, and it was a turmoil last couple of rounds for Martin heading into the break, so he really did need that time to reset. He did reset, and he's found that desire, and he's found the pace, really dominating today's track time. Bagnaia, right there in the top 3. This guy, let me tell you, watching this man out on a racetrack, and Martin, give him his dues, I must say, smooth as silk, just so precise. The bike's never out of shape. It just does whatever he wants it to do. There's a connection there, and that's the hard thing watching Brad and Jack on the KTM. The connection's not quite there, and Jack actually summed it up perfectly. At a track like this with a KTM and its inconsistencies, you're literally just patchworking places. If the bike works well in this section, patch it up for this section, because we're not going to get the complete package, whereas the Ducatis and the Aprilia for here are the complete packages, and that's what KTM are finding. They can't find their complete package. If they're good here, they lose here. If the bike performs well here, it doesn't perform well here, and they just do this patchwork job in the rest of in parts. And he said, like a track like this, as I said, almost 6 kilometers, to get a bike that works well in every single part of it is very hard. So, but the Ducatis look so good. Bastianini was good today. Those Ducatis just look so visibly, you can see how much better the Ducatis are compared to everything else. Bezzecchi, interesting day for him. Went out in the session, and we just saw giant puffs of smoke coming out of his Ducati. So again, I think Bezzecchi for the rest of the year, it's just going through the motions, getting ready for his factory Aprilia ride for next year. DJ Antonio, again, top VR46 Ducati man. Big news that he will be on a full factory GP25 spec Ducati for next year. This is a rider that literally 12 months ago, he was out of the MotoGP paddock, contemplating a ride potentially in World Superbikes if he could find one. Was talking about mental health issues and battling with the chaos and the mental pressure that comes with MotoGP. 12 months on, and it was spoken about in the media center, 12 months on, the guy can be very proud of how he's turned it all around. And he now finds himself on a full factory Ducati bike for next year. If you had said that to us 12 months ago, you would have been slapped. But there he is. So well done, Digi. Another great day here today, Friday at Silverstone. Marc Marquez looks like he's fighting that Ducati, to be honest. I know at the beginning of the year, Pecco Bagnaia criticized Marc and said, you're trying to ride it like Honda. I saw that today. He wasn't as smooth as the other Ducati riders, overriding the bike in many ways, so a bit out of shape, and outside, I think 10th or 11th he ended up, so certainly not into Q2, which is, they won't be happy with that, there's no doubt about it. So some work to do there for Marc Marquez and Alex Marquez, the whole Cressini team, in fact. I don't want to say the worst of the Ducatis, but the worst of the Ducatis, if you know what I mean. Moving along here, Zarco, top Honda rider, although albeit down in 15th or 16th place. So again, I talk about going through the motions. Honda are just trying to find that something. Taka Nakagami right at the back of the field, the worst of the Hondas and the worst of all the riders, even Remy Gardner being ahead of him. Luca Marini sounded a bit more positive in his debrief, saying that they're definitely finding something. He's adapting his riding style to the Honda now. He said, what I was doing at the beginning is I was trying to ride the Honda like a Ducati and expecting my riding style from the Ducati to adjust to the Honda, and it's not. He's got to now start adjusting himself to this Honda, and better performance. Yes, still nowhere near where he needs to be and miles down, but better than his teammate Jean Mir, former MotoGP world champion. Crazy to say, all the way down there, but certainly there was a bit more to shout about for Luca Marini, and he definitely seemed a little bit more positive coming out of that media debrief. Moving along here, Yamaha, Quartararo again, just saying we're struggling. We don't have the pace. We just don't have the pace. He says, I don't feel slow. I feel like I'm pushing on the limit around every corner, but when I'm trying to follow Martin and all the Foster guys and they're just running away from me, we are slow. But when you're giving your 110% and you're not on the pace, he looks defeated. Quartararo just looks defeated. Alex Rins again, another rider just going through the motions, recovering from injury, still suffering the effects of that leg injury. Damaged goods in many ways. Alex Rins, big news, he signed a 2-year deal extension with Yamaha, keeping him with the Japanese manufacturer, so that's good news for him. But it's tough times. Tough times continue for Yamaha, and the tough times continue for Honda. Slightly better times for Red Bull KTM. This is the Red Bull hospitality for the weekend, which is always amazing. That's a little trip down the paddock here at Silverstone. I hope you've enjoyed my little 2 cents worth on the day that was here at Silverstone. And time to go home now, recover, put my feet up after 27,000 steps on Thursday, and I think another 24,000 today. So yeah, my chubby little feet are starting to feel the effects of that. So stay tuned to the Motor Rider World YouTube channel for Saturday and Sunday's roundup here at Silverstone.